Hello, Rink Rats. Today we're with Mr. Timothy Sweeney, otherwise known as Timmy Blue Eyes, otherwise known as Pie Face. Another BC Hall of Famer, 10-year NHL veteran. We'll go through the stats, Timmy, first, and then we'll have a chat as usual with everybody. Captain of the 1988-89 team, along with David Libman and Paul Marshall, tri-captains. 88-89 led the team in goals with 29, assists with 44, points with 73, which that was a kind of an insane year.
Yeah, it was.
73
a lot
points.
Of fun, yeah.
1989 Hobie Baker finalist, 1989 All-American, same year All New England, All Hockey East, and recipient of the Norman Daly Award, which is awarded every year to the BC Most Valuable Player from the Pikes Peak and the Varsity Club, named after my father's backup goalie.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Shaper Daly died in the 50s, very young. At BC, Timmy had 152 points in 127 games for a 1.19 point per game average, and I don't reckon there's 25 guys that over a point in history at BC. So you're in good company. If there's 30, I'd be shocked.
Right.
If there's 30, I'd be shocked. He's ranked number 13 in career goals at BC, number 44 in career assists, and won number 11 all 4 years at BC. Was there a reason for that?
No, there really was. Actually, I guess there was. 8 was what I wore in high school.
Yeah.
So 8 was already taken by Neil Shea at the time.
Of course.
And then,
leave it to Neil to ruin a good time.
And then
okay?
After Neil, Ken Hodge was waiting for Neil to graduate because his father and he was always 8.
Yeah.
So he had it after him. So I had no shot at 8. So my wife to be at the time, who is my wife today, her favorite number was 11. So
okay.
That was available, so that's
and
what
that's
I took.
a damn good reason to pick the number to me, as you well know.
Right.
Timmy was drafted by Calgary in 1985, where you began your career. But prior to that, you had an ankle injury.
Right.
At BC,
Yeah.
It was in the playoffs. You guys were on a run.
In the playoffs, yeah. So we got sent out to Michigan State after losing in the Hockey East final to Maine.
Yeah.
So we get sent out. Back then it was a 2 out of 3 series. We actually killed them the first game, 7-2. I think I had a goal and 2 assists or whatever, but we had a good game.
That's a big start.
Literally, at the end of the game, I think it was the third period, someone just fell on my ankle the wrong way. And it happened, I had almost torn ligaments in my ankle. And
a break.
It wasn't broken, but it was actually, I would have rather have it broken, to be honest with you, because the ligaments damage was, I really couldn't, I couldn't have played probably if we went to the Final Four anyways.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. So I sat out actually the next game, but I tried to play the game 3.
Made it worse.
I just couldn't do it, so I actually sat on the bench for most of the game 3.
So it happened in the second game of a 3-game series.
First game.
First game.
First game. At the end of the game we won, yeah. So that was
a couple of guys say that was the difference.
I think it had a lot to do with it because we were rolling. We ended up getting beat pretty good the second game, then lost in overtime the third game. But
in overtime.
In overtime still. So we were rolling. We thought we had a good chance because we had played Harvard twice that year, who ended up winning the whole thing. We lost 5-4 to them.
That's right. That was the
in both games, and they were close. So we knew we had a good chance if we ever. Got to the Final Four, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Yep.
Yeah, that injury was a bummer. It's not the way you really want it. That's at the end of my career.
Have you re-injured? Did you re-injure it?
No, but that summer, Calgary Flames signed me pretty shortly after that, and they wanted me to go play for their affiliate in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get healthy until almost training camp
really?
September. So yeah, it was a lingering injury.
Did they cut it to you?
No, it didn't have to. It was just more rehab, but it just does. It's almost like a high ankle sprain today, where it just takes a while to go away.
And then you're at Salt Lake City, and you get the Rookie of the Year award.
Yeah, I did.
Which was also won by somebody we both know.
yeah, Joey Mullen won that award as well. We actually had 4 guys from back to back to back, I think, at Salt Lake after me that actually won that as well. But yeah, that was a great year in Salt Lake. I really got a chance to play with some good players down there.
And it was a tough league.
Put in all situations. So as you know, the more you play and you're an offensive guy, if you're playing in all the power plays and stuff like that, you get a real chance to score and put up some points.
Right. So you with them just the one season and then you jumped?
One season, made the team the next year in Calgary, yeah. And then halfway through the year, I got sent back down just because I wasn't playing a ton. So about a year and a half I spent there, yeah.
So your year in Salt Lake City was Joey's last year with Calgary.
Correct, yeah, Joey. So, funny story, I got to training camp that year after they had just won the cup, and Joey was held behind because he had a groin injury. They went over to Russia that year to play a few games.
Yeah.
So Joey was held behind, so he actually skated with us during training camp. It was just the Salt Lake guys. So that's where I actually got the chance to meet him for the first time.
And he left his jersey in the locker for you?
No. Talk about putting pressure on
How
a
did that
kid, right?
work
The
out?
next year, they traded Joey after that year. And I come into training camp, had a great camp, and made the team.
Yeah.
And they gave me 7. So talk about putting a little pressure on me.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Pressure, but also kind of like you're a little kid again in a
Right,
way. You know?
yeah. Mhm.
That's funny. Now, are you aware that you hold, you were the sole owner of one NHL record?
I think I am.
Is
You
it a
tell me.
record? It's something that no one else has done.
I'm aware of that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Played for 4 teams.
I'm not aware of that one, actually.
Okay,
That's
tell
a
me
new
the one you're aware of,
So
'cause then I missed one.
Four different, what was the 4 teams? I didn't know that
You're
one.
the only guy that played for Calgary, Boston, Anaheim, and the Rangers.
No kidding.
Just those 4.
I didn't know that, yeah.
Total of 291 games and 138 points with all 4.
Yeah.
Which one did I miss?
So I don't even know if this goes down as a record, but so I think I am the only one to score their first NHL goal
In
in
overtime.
their first game in overtime.
I think you're right.
And the only reason why I know that and was made aware of it, I don't know how many years ago it was, but someone sent me an email saying this guy just scored an assist to get his first NHL point in his first game, and no one's ever scored a goal. But I had.
In the first.
First goal, first game, in overtime.
Okay. All right.
I don't think anybody's done it.
I'll have to go to my crack staff and review that. Now, back then it was rare. Today it's virtually non-existent for a kid to play solely for his public high school
Mhm.
and then go straight to D1 on a 4-year ride. You know,
Right.
I think with your team it might have been you, Artie,
Mhm.
Raja, and Sean Reel might have been the only guys. But
Well, Brasha went to Avon, so he was.
okay,
cool.
Raja's out,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there's 3. So there's 3, but that never happens.
Yeah. No, it doesn't happen now. I think hockey's changed so much. I mean, if I was playing today, there's no way I would have been able to play at a public high school just
Right.
because it's changed a lot. But back in those days, I mean, we had really good public school programs. I mean, Tom Barrasso won the Vezina
right,
the first year out of a public school. So
That's
I mean,
right, too.
even at my high school at Weymouth North, we had probably 5 guys during my era that played Division I hockey.
That's unbelievable.
So we really had a good team. That was one of the driving reasons why I never really went anywhere else, because I knew that we were going to have a really good team while I was at Weymouth North.
That's
So
cool.
that's one of the biggest reasons why.
Total lunch pail player. This guy earned everything that he got in hockey. That will change on Chevy. Let me tell you, for my money. But anyway, that's and then you drafted with Calgary, and then you went from BC and when you were a kid, you go into games. Who took you to the games and got you interested
Yeah.
in BC as a kid?
So there was no all-star teams back in those days, so I just played for Weymouth Youth Hockey.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably our Pee Wee team. I can't remember which year, but it was just a hockey trip that they took us in to go to see BC play.
Do you remember the game?
I don't remember who they were playing. I just remember McHugh Forum.
What year was that?
That was probably 78-ish,
Okay.
77, 78-ish, because I was right around 10, 11 years old.
Yeah. You did you play at McHugh?
I did for 1 year.
One year, yeah.
And that's where I got to see Joey Mullen for the first time.
He just
and
comes
that's-
back again and again
Yeah,
and
I
again.
mean, when you're a young kid, you're very impressionable, and the first time, it was probably my first college game I ever went to.
Yeah.
And that's kind of struck you as, wow, this place is pretty cool. This guy,
JFK.
Joe Mullen, is pretty good. And yeah, it was
And
jam-packed.
undrafted.
And
Undrafted.
undrafted. So that was kind of my first foray into college hockey, and it's just the little things you remember when you get older.
Yeah.
So at that point, I had always been just a BC fan because of that day.
Yeah. It's like a storybook.
Yeah.
It's like a storybook here. Now, you played back in the 80s. That was your kind of heyday in high school and college. So, did you ever have a mullet?
If you talk, so my wife has known me since I was 16.
I'll ask her for a picture.
I've never had a mullet.
No?
I've had this haircut since, Pee-wee's.
Working class, blue collar guy. Keep it short back and
I've
sides.
never really had long hair, so I've never had a mullet. I don't know why, for whatever reason, whenever I got long hair, and I thought I looked silly, so I always got a haircut.
No Barry Melrose for
Yeah.
you.
No, not even close.
No. No, you're number 11 at BC for a very good reason. Number 7 at Calgary, which was fortuitous. And is there any significance to the other numbers that you wore with the other teams?
No, and I think you'll see most guys that get to teams like Anaheim. I had the opportunity to pick my own number, so I wore 8, what I wore in high school.
Right.
When I got drafted by Calgary, they actually sent me a number 8 too, so I still have that shirt upstairs. It's my number 8.
Okay.
So when I got to the Bruins, someone else was wearing number 8 at the time, Cam Neely. But I didn't really have the opportunity with the Bruins to pick a number. They kind of gave me a number, so it was 42 there. So I didn't have the opportunity. With the Bruins, I was in the minors. I was up, so I didn't have the opportunity to pick a number there. And with the Rangers was the same way. They kind of just gave me a number there, so I just wore it. Whatever they gave me, I wore.
Yeah.
If they asked me what I wanted to wear, I would tell them.
They threw a shirt at me.
Most of the time, if they threw a shirt at me, I just wore it.
That's how Neil Sheehy get number 0. So they're just like, hey, you want to wear this? Yeah, okay. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll wear whatever. Now, when you were with New York, who were some of the guys that you played with down there?
So, luckily, that year it turned out to be one of the better years ever, because I was actually over in Germany going to wind down my career. And it just so happens I was with an organization that was really bad. Anything they said to me, they didn't follow through on. So I actually ended up coming back from Germany and signing with the Rangers while training camp was actually going on.
No.
So I played literally 2 weeks in the minor leagues down there and got called up. So that was a great kind of turn of events. But I got to play with Kevin Stevens again. He was there. Brian Leach was there as well. So I got to play with 2 of my former teammates in college. Wayne Gretzky was there. Pat LaFontaine was also on that team. So it was a really good,
It's an interesting
good
lineup.
core group. Mike Richter in goal. So on paper it looks really good, but we didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
But yeah, it was a very good year to play with not only some ex-teammates, but some of the best players that ever played the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Now, growing up, whether it's high school, college, pros, Olympics, what coaches or teammates really had an impact on you and helped you along?
Well, I think my high school coach was probably the biggest influence on me, and I still have a relationship with him till this day. His name's Bob Donovan. He actually lives in Montreal now, but he grew up in Weymouth as well, played hockey in Weymouth, and coached at Weymouth for a long time. But he was the first coach that actually held me accountable. And he probably saw something in me that said, hey, this guy could be good. So he used to get, no matter best player, worst player, he made you accountable back then. And I think he made me a better player. And I think he helped me get to the next level, especially in high school, where I was a skinny 130-pound-year-old freshman.
Which is me now, basically, he described.
Yeah, and he saw something in me, and he got on me a lot about working on my shot because I was so small, about doing the little things that I needed to get better. Even when I was, my senior year, I lead the state in scoring. If a goal was my fault in the defensive zone, he let me know about it. So he was one of those coaches that always held me accountable.
Yeah.
I mean, in Weymouth, we had some really good teams. I mean, if we lost the game, it was like,
A big deal.
it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And he was still hard on us. So he was probably the biggest influence on me, just to say, hey, let's try to get the best of your abilities out of you.
Yeah. Now, when you went pro, was there any guys that kind of mentored you and helped you adapt to the NHL?
I can't pick any one guy. I mean, whenever we went to, whenever I played for a different team, it was always some guy that, my first year in the minors, it was a guy named Rich Chernomaz who had been in the minors for a little while.
Yeah.
And he's the guy that I would pick his brain about certain things.
Right.
So I always tended to, whatever team I was on, I tended to flock to that guy.
Yeah.
Like I got to play with Adam Oates in Boston. I used to watch the way he killed penalties.
Yeah.
Pat LaFontaine was a big influence when I was in New York because I got to play with him a little bit. So we used to talk all the time about the game and just how little things that you can learn. So it was more of which team I was on that I was talking to guys about. I used to talk to Rick Talker a lot when I played in Boston, just picking his ear about little stuff.
Yeah.
So it really is great when you can get the guys that are such good players.
Right.
Not only watch them, but you can learn from them as well.
Right. Now, college and pro, who would you say was the toughest defenseman to get past?
College, I don't really remember a lot. I mean,
It's a long time ago. I'll give you that much.
no, I mean one of the reasons why I went to BC is right here. Is that I had two of the better defensemen in all of college hockey I played against every day, which was Greg Brown and Brian Leach.
I thought you were going to say Mike Malone.
And Mike Maloney too. But I always
I think
thought
that's why you won number 7, to be honest with you.
But going to a school like BC, where my freshman year I went in there, we were loaded. We had 10 seniors at 4, like we were loaded. And one of the things you go to schools like that for, not only is because you like the school and you want to win, but you get to improve every day in practice.
Absolutely.
Because you're playing against some of the best players in college hockey. So when I come down on a Greg Brown who was fantastic defensively.
Yeah, and
Offensively, defensively, but really could skate, especially backwards, like really good, fundamentally sound defensive. Yeah. Am I going to go against another better defenseman in college hockey at the time?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
No.
So I think every day in practice it was a treat to try to work on moves against those guys.
Yeah, you certainly guys were loaded. I mean, for you to be on the second power play unit with 29 goals.
Right. 31.
But
who's counting?
Does that include playoffs?
Well, 31 my sophomore year, actually. That was my sophomore year.
I had 29.
29 was my senior year.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Jeez,
Yeah,
got me on two things
That
here.
was an interesting year because I knew I was going to get a good chance to play that year. I didn't really play a lot my freshman year because, we had 10 senior forwards. So,
Right.
I played a lot towards the end of the year, but I didn't play a lot. But at my sophomore year, I knew Lenny told me that I was going to get a good chance to play, and obviously he put me with Craig Janney. So that was a great year. The good part about that year is it was a lot of fun. We didn't have a rink. We used to travel to other rinks. We really had a good group of guys. We loved to score goals that year. We scored a ton of goals. So it was really a lot of fun.
With no home rink and no home rink to practice.
With no home rink. And, we kept this doesn't happen often in college hockey today. We played with the same guys all year.
Yeah.
All year. Which made it even better because you feel out everybody's tendencies, you know what everybody's going to do, and you're playing with the same guys every year, and it turned out to be a really fun year. But again, it's right. I did not play in the first power play, and I had 31 goals. So I'm guessing there was a lot of even strength goals that year.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I didn't even have a gripe. We had
look who
really
the
good
first unit was.
Craig Janney, Kevin Stevens, Ken Hodge Jr. up front. Who am I going to say? Hey,
Leach and Brownie on the point.
So I didn't have a gripe, and I was fine with it.
Yeah.
So the second power play got their last 20 seconds.
Yeah. Now, who did you have a tough time scoring on?
At what level? At the pro level?
Pro and college, whatever you can remember.
All the goalies at the pro level. But I'm trying to think of who would be real tough. I know Hasek was always tough to score on.
That's what Craig said, the exact same thing.
I'm trying to think, because he's the one of the guy that I played because Boston Buffalo. He was always when I was in Boston. I always had a tough time scoring against Detroit. I don't even know if it was the goalie, but I always had a tough time. I always look at teams.
Yeah.
Like teams has always been like Detroit for whatever reason. I could never score against them.
Tough place to play in the rink.
Tough place to play, but tough teams at the time. They were
Yeah.
really good in the '90s. I just could never score against them. So I don't think it was more of a goal. I think it was more of a team that I couldn't score on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, they're all good.
They're all good.
They're
Curtis
all
Jefferson, St. Louis. I mean, back in those days, Patrick Waugh was around. Martin Brodeur in New Jersey. I mean, he was tough to score on too because they played so defensive, and he was one of the best, probably the best goalie that ever played.
And Barrasso, you
yeah,
mentioned.
right, and Barrasso too. I did get Barrasso back. We played against them in high school in the state tournament, and he shut us out. But I did score him in the NHL, so I did get him back.
Okay. He's got the records for goalie assists in the NHL.
Oh, it doesn't surprise
I think he
me.
has like 70 assists or something crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, funny story about Barrasso. So I was a sophomore. We were at Weymouth North playing Acton Boxball at the Boston Garden in the quarterfinals. And he literally could shoot the puck better than half of our team as a goalie. We would dump it in. He would come out of his net and dump it out.
He
Like
liked to
that's
play the puck.
that's how scary it was.
Yeah.
And no goalie back then did that in high school.
No. And he was a big cat,
And he was a
too.
big cat. That was an eye opener to play that game and watch a guy that had that much talent at 18 years old that he could fire the puck out of the ring.
And then he
like
went
that.
straight.
And they went straight
straight
to the
up.
pros, yeah.
Did you have any pregame rituals?
I didn't really.
No superstitions or
No,
anything?
not really.
No.
If anything, I kind of got dressed at the same time every year,
Yeah.
every game. But I didn't really have any. I was never really a superstitious guy.
Are you involved in any of the local youth hockey and stuff around here now?
I'm not now. I used to be a little bit involved when my son was playing. Actually, my two daughters played when they were younger as well. But I'm not really involved much today. I do a lot with the Bruins alumni, Bruins Foundation when I have a chance. I used to be involved a little bit with a friend of mine who used to own a hockey program called the Social Conquistadors.
Yeah.
I used to be involved with them a little bit, helping out with skills and stuff. But other than that, I'm not really much involved.
Well, your son's playing down at Salve Regina.
My son plays at Salve Regina. He's going into his junior year down there. So, I mean, that's pretty much why I stopped doing a lot of it. As soon as he got into high school, he went to Zavarian Brothers. I wanted to make sure I was going to all his games.
That's
and
the
stuff.
priority.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
I get out of everything I was doing with hockey.
Rightfully so.
Right, yeah.
Rightfully so. But the Bruins alumni, they do a lot of good local work, raising money for people that have an immediate need. So, a lot of times when you donate to charity, it gets lost in the shuffle, and
Right.
this goes directly to people who need it, right?
Yeah, and, very gracious. I think anybody would tell you the hockey players are more gracious. I don't know if that's true, but we are gracious. We lend our time a lot. I'm battling an injury right now, so I haven't played this year, but I really enjoy playing the games.
Yeah.
You get to see all the guys you don't normally see on a regular basis for
Right.
the alumni. And it's friendships that last a lifetime.
That's what it
And
is.
you're raising money for it as well. I mean, we just had an event yesterday. It was called Bowl with the Bruin.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Run by Frank Simonetti, and over the last 4 years, he's able to raise like $3 million for Dana-Farber. So just little events like that make it all worthwhile.
Yeah. I went to a game. It was the first alumni game I'd been to. It was February, I think, down the street in Rockland. And you were coaching the other
that
team.
game. Yeah.
And I couldn't get over to you because the rink was so tight on both sides.
Yeah.
But, watching the guys come out songing, and Sweeney, who looks like he's probably 10 feet tall on skates.
Yeah.
And Mullen comes out, gets a goal and assist right off the bat, like he didn't lose a step. But I had a blast watching that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people in our era do.
And it was a full house.
It
was a full house.
Because a lot of the people in our era grew up with a lot of these guys, and so, Terry O'Reilly still plays, Rick Middleton still plays.
Does Terry still play?
Yeah, he still plays.
Oh, yeah, Nicky was there that day. Yeah.
Ray Bork still plays
Yeah.
every once in a while. So you see some of the guys that a lot of this generation actually grew up watching, so it's pretty cool.
Well, I'd rather watch the older guys in an alumni game than the guys from Russia, Czechoslovakia, whose names I can't pronounce now. I tend to lose interest if I can't pronounce the names. Sweeney, I can handle that.
Right,
You know what I
Sweeney's
mean?
pretty easy.
Now, what do you think about how the game's changing, how fast it is now?
Yeah, I think it is really fast. I mean, when you look at the older games, I think just the guys are bigger. I mean, the average size today is probably 3 inches bigger than it was back in the day.
20 pounds
Equipment's
lighter.
better. The training is better.
Yeah.
Like when we were younger, we didn't train like these kids are training
Well, it's
today.
better because there is training.
Yeah. So we didn't have any.
You might have had Paul Vincent do a power skating thing or something.
But before that was later on in life. Like when I was a kid, I never went to one skill session in my life.
Yeah, you played baseball or
You
something.
played baseball or you learned in the driveway or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. It's changed a lot that way, you know. And the same goes for the generation before us. I mean, they didn't have what we had access to. So I think the game is a lot faster, a lot bigger.
Do you think it's too fast?
Well, I think that's why they had to change some of the rules
Yeah.
because some of the especially the icing rule, where some of the defensemen can get really hurt.
Yeah.
So I think that and the headshots have gotten
Which
a little.
they should call a lot more.
Yeah, they should, and you know, you take away, you know, they want to try to take away. Obviously, I wasn't a fighter when I played, but to have got the intimidation factor now is gone.
Yeah.
Like if anybody took someone's head off before, they would have paid for it.
By the team.
Yeah, and that just they don't have the ability to do that anymore.
They all think they're invincible.
Yeah, the equipment's much better.
Until you
sticks are
get
much
pile
better.
drive straight into the
Yeah,
boards.
so I just think it's. I don't think a lot of guys are trying to hurt people.
It's
But I
just,
think they're going a lot
'Cause it's so
faster, and they
fast.
don't have a lot of time to pull up.
you know, a lot of head injuries and
Yeah.
stuff. It's, but what are you going to do?
Right. You know what you're getting for when you sign up.
Yep. This is the job that we have, the Godfather. This is the profession we chose.
Right.
Everybody says that
look.
the best thing in their career, if they've been on the Olympics, was the Olympic parade.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. You only see one of those. You
Did
know?
they give you guys cowboy hats or uniforms?
Yeah, we
on
had like more of an Indiana Jones hat at the time.
Cool. All right.
I still have it.
What was that like?
But
That series?
it was pretty phenomenal the way the Olympics set out. I mean, we had a good team. You know, we went undefeated during the medal round. Ended up running into a really good Russian team, which was the Commonwealth and Independent States at the time because that's the year they broke off in '92. But pretty much every one of their players went to the NHL afterwards.
Well, because they could.
Yeah, because they could.
Yeah.
And because they were really good.
Yeah.
They had their top 8 defensemen were all NHL defensemen. So I mean, they were a really good team. We lost to them 5-2, and then we lost in the bronze medal game. I think we were just kind of drained from losing to the Russians.
How many games do you think you played total with the pregame, the preseason, and all that?
The Olympics. So the Olympics for me was a funny story. I did not join them till December.
Late.
Whereas a lot of the guys had joined them in August of that year, so I didn't travel them at all. So the turn of events was in the summer that year. Calgary was telling me they were thinking I'm going to make the team, and the Olympic team had called my agent and said that would love to have them. But I was like, you know, if Calgary's telling me I'm going to make the team, I'm going to go to training camp.
Right.
So I went to training camp, made the team, was there for the first half, wasn't playing a lot. Was in another lineup, and you know, I reached back out to the U.S. team and said, "Are you guys still interested?" And they said yes. And Calgary was like, "Hey, all right, yeah, I think this will
They were
work."
cool with it.
Yeah. So I got loaned to the Olympic team in December of that year. So I ended up playing probably 20, 25 games of the pre-Olympic tour,
Yeah.
and then we played 8 during the Olympics. So.
And what was the format? Because I know it's changed over the years.
The format then was you play the medal round, and I think you go by the top 3 teams. I think it was back.
If you lose the first game, are you out? Were you out?
After the medal round, yeah.
Yeah,
You were
okay.
out, yeah. So it went that. So we played Russia. We lost. I think Canada played the Czechs, and they beat the Czechs. That was the semis. So actually, we beat France in the quarterfinals. That was our first game after the medal round.
How different was
Yeah.
was the brand of hockey internationally than what you were used to?
Oh, much different. The ice surface is bigger.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of room to hit anybody with, you know, because there's so much room out there.
Yeah.
Guys can get away from you before you hit them. So it's not
Right.
a lot of physical play.
Right.
But you got to be able to skate. You got to be able to move the puck quicker. And I think the game's a little bit quicker as far as making plays on the big sheet. Whereas, you know, over here, I was in the Western Conference at the time, which was a highly offensive conference anyways at
Yeah.
the time. So I was used to that anyways. The speed of the game and stuff
Yeah.
like that, so I was used to it. But it's just the physicality just can't be there in that atmosphere. The rink's too big.
It's going to be a big
Yeah.
thrill to wear an Olympic sweater for the country.
It really was, and it's funny. I talk to some of my friends all the time, and it usually only comes up during the Olympics. Is I forgot you played for the Olympic team. Because everybody
I
always,
think I know this story.
everybody always pictures me playing for the Bruins, especially around here.
I picture you playing for BC.
Yeah, and BC too, BC too. But a lot of the guys forget about the Olympics.
Yeah.
And I don't forget, but a lot of other people do.
Well, it's a one and done thing, you know. Not for everybody, but you know, it doesn't have the longevity in terms of games as,
Right.
as the other careers. So,
Right.
what a great thing! What a great memory for life.
Yeah, yeah. it
Not a lot
was.
of guys can say that.
Not a lot of guys can say that, and I still have a lot of the stuff that I actually wore, the winter coats. One cool thing they did with the Olympics is they tell you to leave like, you know, 2 pairs of jeans and shoes, and back here, you fly over and they bring you a room, they outfit you with everything.
Really.
So 3 jackets, 3 pairs of pants, shoes, hats, gloves, like they outfit you. So when you're over there, you're wearing USA stuff the whole time.
I wish you brought me.
It's pretty cool. It was pretty cool, and I still have a lot of the stuff.
Does
Yeah.
it fit?
Some
Probably.
some does.
Yeah. You haven't put on much weight.
Oh yes, I have.
A little bit of middle-aged girth, but no, not really.
Yeah.
Not really. Well, it's great to talk to you.
Yeah. No, thank you for.
I
for
look
doing
forward to
it. Yeah.
seeing you at some future Bruins alumni events.
Absolutely. I
I'm
will
glad
be
you're doing
at a
well.
lot of them. I'm hoping to skate again in the fall, and I'll be playing a lot of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. So full circle, you go to a BC game, you see Joey Mullen, you get his number in the pros, and now you're playing pickup hockey with him.
Pretty amazing stuff. Great guy, unassuming, one of the best Americans ever. But he was the one who originally got me interested in BC as well. So BC can thank Joey Mullen too.
Yeah, yeah. I'll get on that tomorrow. All right, Timmy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Whenever I look at this guy, I think of the song "When Irish Eyes Are Smiling." Look at the glimmers on this kid, will you? All right, we'll see you later, Rink Rats, and good luck to everybody. Timmy, thank you very much.
Thank you.